My family and my closest friends have never been told most of what's happened. These are things that I've compartmentalized and packed away for 21 years, but it needs to come out to help other people. If I had had a crystal ball, I could have seen into the future how all this was going to play out. I would have taken my baby and I would have ran. You let the demons take control of him. The picture just made me feel like he was close, and I didn't want that evil presence near me. I felt like just looking at his photo was giving him control again. There was no humanity left in him. He seemed to enjoy inflicting pain and harming others. The more he inflicted pain, the more he allowed that evilness to take over him. This is a picture of Lee and I during our senior prom. I was a sophomore when I met Lee Cawthon for the first time. When I first met him, he seemed shy and quiet and sweet. Another friend of mine warned me that he had a temper, but at that time, I thought he was misunderstood because he would talk about other kids picking on him. I was young and naive, and I wanted to see the best in him, but as I got to know him a little bit more, I could see that there was something just a little bit off still. When Lee and I were first getting to know each other, he did tell me that I was beautiful a lot. He would tell me, "You're too pretty for me." But he went from being flattering and loving and supportive to becoming very controlling and obsessive over me. I liked to wear clothes that showed off my body and made me look pretty, made me feel good about myself. But Lee insisted that I wear baggy clothes, blue jeans, flannel shirts, that sort of thing.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
You're not going out dressed like that.
He made comments, "I don't want other people looking at you." And he would tell me, "Don't put hairspray in your hair. Just leave your hair straight. Just put it in a ponytail." If I didn't do what he wanted, he would come up and he'd mess up my hair on purpose. If I wore makeup to school, he would walk up and lick it off my face. I thought that he was just being a gross boy. You know, teenage boys can be gross and have a weird sense of humor and be kind of crude. I did kind of resist, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna do my hair the way I want to do it and do my makeup every day and wear what I want to wear regardless.
I don't know what your problem is. I look fine.
But then he got more serious about it. I don't want people looking at your legs or see your cleavage because I don't want them to take you away. Lee was jealous and insecure. I feel like that's why he was trying to control me so much. He was scared he was going to lose me. And so I slowly got where I wore less and less makeup, and I, pulled my hair up more because I knew he was just going to mess it up. One of the factors in missing some of these red flags was because I did fall in love with him. I had never experienced what love really should be. And that was what made me so weak. He always had a way of twisting things around so that he would get his way. I thought that he was a loner because he didn't have very many friends. And at that point, I didn't realize that so many people were scared of him. One day after school, Lee and I were hanging out at his house, and his grandparents came in and were really angry.
Was anything going through your mind? Did you even know the kid?
He had gotten in a fight with a kid, and the kid was a hemophiliac. Lee hit him in the nose to the point the guy was bleeding so bad that he had to go to the hospital.
Did you consider the fact that you might have even killed the kid?
I asked him, did you know that the kid had hemophilia? He was like, oh yeah, I knew. I'm like, well, what if the kid had died? He's like, oh, he wasn't gonna die. He made it out to be like he was the victim, that the kid started the argument, and he finished it. I thought he was still the kid that had been bullied, and he was just trying to stand up for himself finally. That's kind of how he spun it. As somebody that had been bullied myself, I could kind of understand that. But Lee was like 16, 17. He was a junior in high school. This little kid was like 5th or 6th grade, really young. Lee never showed any sign of remorse. Lee got suspended and got kicked off the bus, and it just didn't seem to faze him. He was proud of what he did. He bragged about it to everyone. He thought that by intimidating people, that people had to respect him. It empowered him and made him feel superior to everyone else. One day I was hanging out at Lee's house. We started talking about the past and things that had happened to us when we were younger before we met each other. He started talking to me about a friend of his mom's, and he said that the guy liked to mess with little boys. And he said that the guy tried to molest him. And he said that he stopped it. And I was like, well, what do you mean?
But I handled it.
How?
He said, have you ever heard what happens if you shoot a syringe of air into someone's veins? And I was like, what? Lee told me that he took a syringe full of air and shot it in the guy's vein so that it would send air into his heart and make his heart stop. I remember Lee standing there laughing and bragging about what he had done. He seemed almost proud of himself. At that moment, I really didn't believe that there was truth to it. I thought that maybe he was making up the part about killing the guy to make himself seem more empowered and in control of what had happened to him. Looking back on it now, I have no doubts that he may have done what he said he did. I think that he was possibly admitting to his first murder. That was a huge red flag that I missed, that I was too young and innocent to see. I definitely had not seen the real Lee yet. Lee was almost obsessed with sex. And the more violent he got, the more sex he wanted. But at the same time, I loved him. And, you know, teenage love, you think that you're only going to be with this person for the rest of your life, no matter what. It was a typical Friday night. We went to the movies nearly every Friday night, and nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was fine. But when the movie was over, just on the other side of the entrance were two women. They looked to be maybe their late teens, early 20s. They were very scantily clad. Lee immediately draws my attention, like, hey, look at these girls over here.
God help me.
He was talking about how beautiful they were while we were standing there, making all these comments about how he bet they were good lays, that he bet that they knew what they were doing because they were prostitutes and, well, he said whores, and starts talking about how he wants to them. At that point, I just felt disgusted and shocked. I got upset with him, and we had an argument.
Is that something that you want?
I was like, well, if you want other girls, then let's just end it.
I'm done. You're disgusting.
Lee punched me in the eye, and it immediately turned black and started swelling. This was the first time he had ever hit me. I was wearing his class ring at the time, and I took it and I slung it off, and I just slung it at him as hard as I could. And I said, I'm done with you. When I said, I'm done with you, I deserve better, we're not going to be together anymore, I took his control away from him. And he started begging and apologizing profusely. He knows that he's not supposed to do that now, so he'll never do it again. I made excuses. Everybody loses their temper. Everybody gets angry sometimes. Looking back, I can't believe I believed him. I'm just like, hello? How could you actually believe that he would never hit you again? I see so many chances that I missed to get away. And I carry that in my heart because my children suffered, my family suffered because I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't brave enough. I wasn't smart enough to just end it when it was first starting. When Lee and I first met and we were talking to each other about our future, he told me that he wanted to become a doctor. The first time that I noticed he had a fascination with death was when his AP biology class had went on a field trip to the University of South Carolina. He talked for days and days after that field trip about seeing the cadavers and seeing how they did autopsies on people. He was just so enthused by that. And he really had an unnatural fascination with not just death, but he was watching pornography constantly. Very graphic depictions of sexual things. There was people having sex with dead bodies. There was people having sex with animals. At first I thought that he was just curious. And then I started to realize that he had an addiction to it. It was like the aggression and the violence turned him on. But I was a teenager. I thought that was just a normal thing, that guys liked gross things and girls did not. But talking about this and bringing this up, it's just like, wow, how did I not catch that? I could have never imagined how bad things were going to get. This was just the beginning of it. Wow. This is a picture of me my senior year of high school when I was about 6 months pregnant. And for the first time in my life, I felt beautiful and special. If I could tell a 16-year-old shy teenager who had no idea what the world was bringing her, I would tell her to run, to get as far away as she could to take her baby and go. Lee wanted me to have an abortion, and he started calling my baby a virus. But I was still hopeful that when he saw our daughter, that he would become the father that she deserved. Lee tried to do everything that he could to destroy the young lady in this photo. After we moved in together was when I started seeing a different side of him. My dad had a little dog that he inherited from his close friend. My dad had to go into the hospital for a procedure, and he had asked me to watch the dog for him. I was working night shift, and I came home and opened the door expecting to let the dog out to potty that morning, and the dog's not there.
Luna!
I was calling for the dog, and Lee came in there, and he goes, "You can quit calling for him. I took care of him." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, you don't have to worry about him anymore."
I made sure that dog doesn't bother us again.
When Lee told me that he had taken care of the dog, he had this smugness to him. He had a smirk on his face. I could see a black garbage bag. You could tell that there was something inside. It was kind of a rounded, lumpy. I opened the bag and looked in, and I was just in shock. Inside the trash bag was the dog. I kind of gasped. And I was kind of holding back tears because I was like, please, please no. Please no. He had stabbed it and killed the dog. It was a bloody mess. I saw blood-stained hair, and I saw cuts on the dog where he had cut the dog. When my dad got out of the hospital, I told him that the dog had ran away, and I never admitted that I knew what he had done to the dog, until now. I was scared that he had that ability that he could do that to an animal, and what would stop him from doing that to me? Lee started talking about demons. Like, the demons would make him do things. When Lee would talk about the demons, he would have a blank expression on his face, and his eyes would look dark. It was kind of chilling to see when he would do that. It was like a switch flipping. This one night, we had an argument start because he didn't come home after work like he was supposed to.
We're sitting here waiting for you.
We're sitting on the bed beside each other. And then he just all of a sudden, like a switch, his pupils just completely dilate. All you could see was black. It looked like something out of a horror movie. He leans over and he just clamps down and bites me on my knee. Bites me to the point where he broke the skin and doesn't let go.
What are you doing? Get off me! Get off me!
There was something inside of him that was snapping. And a normal person doesn't just lose all compassion and humanity in just a moment like that. It was almost like he was possessed. I was screaming for him to stop, to let me go. I remember hitting him on his back, saying, "Please stop." And he just kept fighting. And my baby was in the crib, screaming her out. And And I think that might be what made him stop, was because she was crying. I got a job working in a restaurant, and he stayed at home taking care of the kids. Things were fairly calm for about 3 years. He just seemed more at ease and happy with life. I thought everything was going to be okay, and didn't last. He had the saddest look on his face.
Lee, what's wrong?
I was like, what is it? He goes, I know you've been with other guys. And I looked at him, I said, no, I didn't. His eyes were black, and he started beating on me. He said, I'll stop if you just admit it. And he kept hitting me over and over and over again. He grabbed his gun up, and he marched me down the hallway past the kids sleeping on the couch.
Go!
Okay.
He said, take a good look at your kids, because this is the last time you're going to see them. And he said, you tell them goodbye. I'll just take a minute, please. He marched me to the door and told me to go outside. I thought that he was walking me out in that field to kill me. Lee got it in his head that I was cheating on him. And no matter how many times I told him that I wasn't, he just continued on. He was telling me, do you see them? We're going to let them decide whether or not you live or die. It was like he was either seeing demons or ghosts. He said, you tell them if you cheated on me or not, and they'll tell me if you can live or not.
Confess.
I decided to say whatever he wanted because I wanted to live. I finally was like, just stop. I said, yeah, I did it. You don't see any other way out but to say yes. I said, please let me live. I cheated on him. Please let me live.
I confess.
And I don't know who he wanted me to talk to. There was no one there, but I said it anyway. I was standing there for what felt like forever, waiting to see if he was going to shoot me and wondering, will I feel it? Will I know it when it happens? And he just went back inside the house like nothing ever happened. For the next 2 years, he wouldn't let me go anywhere with both my kids at the same time. He had threatened my father's life if I did take the kids and leave. One day, his stepfather pulled into our yard.
Call police! Help!
He's screaming, call 911, call 911. And I said, what's going on? And he said, Elaine's dead. He said she had fell off the tractor and was wrapped up in the wheels of the Bush Hawk. Lee took off back down the hill, and I called 911. As they were bringing her body up, Lee came back up to the house, and he just gave me a hug, and he went in the house. But he didn't seem crushed like you would think he would be. My daughter told me, she said, Mom, I think Lee might have killed Granny Lane Lane. Lee's grandparents had a lot of money and a lot of land, and if something happened to his mother, he would be next in line to inherit it all. My daughter told me Lee was outside talking to Granny Lane Lane, and then he went down the hill with her. Was he driving that mower? And she was on the ground and he rolled it over her? and just left her there like that. I will always question whether or not his mother's suspicious death was at his hands. We needed someone to watch the kids so that we could go to Lee's mom's funeral. Rebecca was Lee's stepfather's niece, who I first met when she was a little girl. Everyone called her Becky. After that first time that she babysat, Lee started finding reasons to have Rebecca over when I wasn't home, when we actually didn't need a babysitter. What I did not know at that time was that he had ulterior motives. One night, I came home from work early, and they were making out on the couch. She was around 15, and he was around 24. I looked at her and I said, "You need to leave now." And that's when he got mad at me and came at me and was telling me that I wasn't going to keep him from his happiness. He got it in his head that he wanted to have a relationship with her. And he wanted to be able to have me and her both. He said, "You're going to like this or else I'm going to handle you." I was going to be the wife that cooked and cleaned and earned the money, while she was going to be his wife for love and for sex and compassion. Lee felt entitled to a threesome because he thought that I had had sex with other men.
Get in the bed.
I do feel like I had no option but to say yes to the threesome, because he was going to beat me no matter what I did. And if I didn't say yes and let him have his way, it was going to be worse. What little bit of emotions I still had for him, I think it just shattered into a million pieces in that moment. It broke my heart all at once. I felt trapped. I felt like there was no way out. I couldn't find a way to get away from him for a moment, to find an escape route. No matter how many times people tell you you shouldn't be treated like that, no matter how many times you even put it in your head, "Hey, I don't deserve this." Until that moment clicks in your head, there is nothing that anyone else can do to save you till you're ready to be saved. You have to make that step for yourself.
Hey guys, I'm here.
There was a night when Lee's brother was coming to visit. He sat down on the couch and he looked at me and he said, "Jenny, what's going on?"
What's the matter?
And I said, "Oh, he's in the bed with Becky." He looks at me and he says, "Jenny, you don't deserve this. Why don't you just leave? Just go." In that moment, it was like it clicked. I was like, okay, yep. I looked over and saw the car keys laying beside my purse. My kids were asleep on the couch. I nudged my daughter and I said, "Do you want to go?" Like, just nudged her awake. And I said, "Do you want to leave?" And she looks at me and she says, "Yes, Mommy." And I said, okay. And I grabbed up my son. We left with just the clothes on our backs and we snuck out the door, and I put the kids in the back seat. I was scared that Lee was going to come running out behind me or jump in his brother's car and take off after me. I kept driving until I got to the next county over. I went to the sheriff's department. I got divorced from Lee. The judge granted me a lifetime restraining order and full custody of my children. I was trying to move forward, but it was haunting me. We were still constantly looking over our shoulders because I was afraid that he would come back and retaliate even worse because I had gotten the divorce. One day I was at home and I received a message. It was from a friend of mine, and they shared the link for the article about Rebecca being missing. I immediately thought either he has her locked up or he's killed her and hit her. It was sinking in a little bit that if he's gone off the rails and killed her, then we're next. He's coming after us. The day that I discovered that Rebecca was missing, some of our friends had seen the news release on it, and they sent it to me on Facebook. When this was shared with me, my heart stopped. Within just a few hours of seeing the flyer, I spoke with the police to try to help give them ideas of where they could look for her. I told them then that if they had not searched the property yet, that they should search his grandfather's automotive shop. The attic had been converted to a hidden bedroom, and that there was also a oil pit where his grandfather would pull vehicles over top of to work on the underside of them. These are locations that Lee had specifically mentioned in the past. Years before, he had bragged about how easy it would be to hide a body on that property. A few days later, they had found her in the oil pit in an old drum. When I look at this, I just see pure evil. I don't see any humanity left in this man at all. It gives me chills to even look at this photo. I told my kids what had happened, and my son broke down because he said, "Mom, what am I gonna do? I'm the son of a murderer." But I just really don't want to look at his face anymore, if we can, please. This is one of Lee's mugshots. I see his eyes are completely black. There's like no sense of humanity left to him. Even the shape of his ears, they're pointy like an evil demon. Anyone could be an evil person and you just don't know it because you haven't seen the side that they have behind closed doors. In October of 2021, I got a message from a friend about Lee dying. I feel like by ending his own life, he got away with what he did because he found the easy way out. Now the truth is out and people know how evil of a man he was. With Lee gone now, he's still a monster that haunts our dreams. My family still struggles so much because of what we've been through that I still carry that guilt that I didn't get them out soon enough. I'll probably always question if there was something more that I could have done. If I had prosecuted him for domestic violence, maybe he would have never had the opportunity to get to that point to become the murderer that he became. I'm always gonna feel haunted. I'm always gonna carry that pain around. But my life today is so much better than I ever could have imagined it would be. I went back to college. I have a husband who is so supportive and loving. I do everything that I can to pay it forward for all of the kindness that was shown to me and my children and all of the help that we received when we were escaping Lee. I have volunteered with women's domestic violence services. I do everything that I can to try to help save as many women as I can. If there's anyone seeing my story and they're in a similar situation, please get out. Get out now. Don't put it off. My children and I were blessed and we were lucky that we made it out. But it very easily could have been the kids and I instead of Becky.
Fred Bowen has a gun to his head. For 5 hours, he lies out on a grassy area holding the gun.
This is the first time I'm telling my story because I feel that I can help someone else. I wasn't ready for over 20 years to do what I'm doing today, to talk about it.
Police had tried to negotiate with Bowen all afternoon. When talks break down, police move in.
One of my brothers told me to go ahead and do it. He told me the past couple of months, don't you ever let no one keep you from telling your story. It's your story. The other family members don't know, but they will when they see this.
First, a flashbang, a puff of smoke, a distraction. Due to the nature of what happens next, we will stop the tape here.
Hope they feel what I feel. Like I want to just be a family. That's all I ever asked for. I hated my father. I knew that he was a predator. He was an evil person because he did evil things. Only evil is going to do evil. I didn't ask to be born into this evil spirit that took place and messed up my family. Things happen so crazy in my life, and I'm just not happy about a lot of it, but I keep pushing forward. I'm damaged, but I have hope that God will just come and change everything. I'm not a hateful person, and I will never be my father. I will never be my father. I think it was Freddie that took the picture. I can't believe it's still here. Like, it was so long ago. It was my mother and my sisters and brothers and I. I think we were just all about to have, I think we were having a picnic, about to have a picnic in the backyard. Yeah, I remember this picture. This is the time where I felt family. Our home was a great big house. Freddie had 8 kids with my mom. Freddie wanted us to call him Freddie instead of Daddy. I think he wanted to look younger all the time. He didn't want to look like he had so many kids. Freddie was very well liked in the community. My father was trying to be a Jehovah's Witness. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke cigarettes. He didn't do drugs. When I was younger, he made me feel safe at first. When he came home from work, I always used to be happy to see him because he'll tell me to take his clothes to the washer and I can have the change, any money in his pocket. Everything was kind of, okay until my dad started having Bible studies.
Whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame.
Things start changing in our household.
Whoever spares the rod hates their children.
It was like Jekyll and Hyde. We didn't know what he would turn into every day.
But the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them.
But because of our religion, no one suspected his behaviors. People thought they knew my father as this kind of man when he had two sides. At home, he was a monster. My father was very selfish, as I learned. On Saturday mornings, we'd get up and have our breakfast. Freddie would have days off on the weekends sometimes. And kids sometimes are left there with him if my mom had to go make an errand at the store. Freddie wanted peace on his days off. But my sisters and brothers, they were all like playing, screaming, having fun. The noise as kids, he wouldn't like that at all. He wanted us quiet so he could hear his music. He would line us up on the couch and he'll put tape on our mouth, grade tape, that can keep our mouths closed. The way that he put the tape on our mouths, he pushes it on our face hard. When he put the tape on my mouth, I felt scared because I don't like feeling like I can't breathe. Here's this big grown man putting tape on little kids' mouths, and I just didn't understand it. It was just terrible. When we're all sitting around with tape on our mouths, he's usually looking for an album. He's probably on the phone, or he's probably eating a sandwich. But he's making sure that we're not going to cry out loud. If we try to get up, he'll hit us, and we had to sit back down. He's going to grab you and tell you to be quiet, shake you up a little bit. We understood to do what he wanted. And when we're done crying, he just ripped it off. It was painful. He didn't take it off slow. I definitely was afraid of my father because you can tell something's wrong. Freddie used power and fear to control us. One day he came in the house from work. He was happy. And he showed my mom the paddles that he made. And we were looking at them too. He had a few paddles. He had these 3. The ones that are thicker than the other, like this long, and they would be this wide. And they have holes going down the row. When he came in with the paddles, he was so happy. I never seen him so happy. That's the way he wanted to discipline us next, to see if we would listen to him. He did use them right after he made them. One of my brothers took a record to school for show and tell.
Who gave you permission?
No one.
And you thought that was okay?
Freddie went crazy. Why did you take it? And my brother's trying to explain, because of show and tell. I had nothing to show. I didn't have anything.
I don't care who it's for. I don't raise no thief.
That was very painful to watch. So sometimes I would go in the closet,
Get over here.
just shut the door, because I didn't want to hear him. Sometimes I would even put a pillow over my ears, because I don't want to hear pain.
Please, Dad, I'm sorry.
Now shut up.
My phobia now about closed spaces, I got it because of being in closets and trying to hide myself from things.
You trying to do that?
I'm not.
When he used the paddle, he would tell us to touch our ankles and keep our hands down there and don't move them. Because if you move them, I'm going to hit you again. hearing the wax and hearing the pain and the cries. It was just horrible. My mom would finally say, Freddie, stop. And then he eventually stopped. But Freddie never showed remorse. A man that does that to his children, he's a coward because we're just children. He wanted to scare us. So it was a Saturday. We were all supposed to be in bed. We all knew that. But we were playing with a blue ball. And the ball rolls down the stairs. My father asked who threw the ball downstairs. And I said, I did. So he took my arms and he started scrapping them up, tied it tight. And then he tied me with my ankles next. So I was tied like a roasted hog. He said he had to whip me and he wanted to read the scripture to me about spare the rod, spoil the child. So he read it to me. And after he read the scripture to me, he just started whipping me with the belt all over. Every hit he did, I would just want him to stop. I was saying, okay, daddy, okay, just crying, I'm sorry, okay. Only thing I can think of is why is my dad doing this kind of stuff to me? And he kept whooping me until he took a break. And I'm screaming, I'm crying, Mom, where is you at? When he took a break from whooping me, she came and she said, you guys need to tell your teachers. Okay. And your counselors at school. Tell the teachers. Tell someone. She could tell his behavior was erupting a little bit differently. I just looked at her, crying because I'm still in pain. I was scared to do it because I thought I was going to get another beating. It's a question that I always had in my mind about my mother, why she wouldn't tell. I always thought that she was scared. And later on through life, she did tell us, y'all just don't know how afraid I was of him. She used to say that to us a lot. And she was very much trapped in the relationship. My mom had all these children. How's she gonna get out there and take care of us? So she stayed in it under his control. I was mad at why am I in this family? So I'm just mad because I'm in this family, knowing that every day it's going to be this way till somebody finds out. The things that he would do wasn't spankings, it wasn't discipline, because you can discipline someone by putting them in a corner. But he's just making us suffer. One day, my father had money that came up missing.
I know you stole it.
One of my brothers had a habit of stealing candy bars from the store. So he assumed that it was the brother that was stealing the candy bars.
So what?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know that my brother wouldn't do that because you have to be out your mind to take money from friends.
You know what you took. You gonna keep lying to me?
No, I'm not.
You gonna keep lying?
But he would take my brother and say, where is my money?
You know what I'm talking about. You keep playing dumb.
And then he says, come here, I'll tell you what, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you why you're not gonna touch the money anymore.
Let's go.
We all followed my brother into the kitchen. I'm like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna take a knife? Is he gonna cut his hand off?
I know you stole it.
I didn't.
Stop lying to me.
He would take him to the stove and want to put his hands on fire. Come here, give me your hand. Get up here. Bring it up here. And he'll just keep going like this.
Stop! We didn't do anything!
My brother's screaming, and we all screaming, no, Freddie, don't.
Stop it, please!
Making us all cry. screaming and hollering and telling him to stop. And he's just saying, you want to steal? I'm going to teach you not to steal. I'm going to teach you not to steal.
I'm gonna teach you what happens when kids steal from you.
My brother was trying to pull away from the fire. And we were like, no, stop. Please don't. Please don't. And he just wouldn't stop until he got enough of scaring him. And then he stopped. My brother didn't do it. I believe that my father wanted just to find a way to abuse someone because he wanted to let off steam. Just because he wanted to show his power of control. I wanted to tell people, but at the same time, I would be scared too because he would do things to make you afraid of him. Like, you're not going to tell. He always had some type of rageness about himself, and he couldn't control his rage. He snaps. Like, it's like his way or no way. One time, me and my mom and my dad was together going to go on one of his trips to do a job. And someone trying to pass him basically did cut him off.
What the hell was that? Did you see that?
And he got upset about it.
Hey, pull over!
He just snapped. What I seen Freddie do was get out the van. He start arguing with the man.
Hey man, you almost killed us!
Why don't you just calm down?
No, you calm down!
And he started punching him real bad. Just unstoppable punches. And then my mom was screaming, "Get back in the car! Please stop, stop." And he just didn't want to stop. What I seen was a man that was enraged, and he wanted to show that he can win. I've seen it at our own home, how violent he can be. No one can stop him. My mom was saying, "Come on, because the police are going to come." And that's when he let up, left the man there on the ground. When he got back in the truck, I seen him just laughing and talking about it. And he was just happy. He was pretty much bragging. I just feel that he was just out of control and out of his mind. Don't no normal person do something like that. I knew that he was a predator because of the other things that he done. Freddie would ask if I would clean his room. And one day I was changing the sheets, and I had to lift up the waterbed mattress to put the sheet around it. So when I lift up the waterbed mattress, I see naked pictures. And they were graphic. They were in different sexual poses, but the people in the pictures were sedated, like they were asleep. And when I was a little girl, he asked me to go get a briefcase. He'll have 2 briefcases. One will be full of congregation magazines, and one will be full of naked women. All different color women, and it was filled with them. I was just so shocked. I was sick. Like, why am I seeing this? It's like he wanted me to see these things. In my 9-year-old mind, I thought that he was going to try to do something to me. As I got older, I believed that my father was becoming more infested of evil. We couldn't have a regular summer. In the summer months, he would make us wear hot shirts. All of the girls in the family, we were darn near wearing turtlenecks. We couldn't wear tube tops like the rest of the kids on the block. They'll look at us and say, "It's hot. Aren't you hot in that?" But I'll say, it's what Freddie says we have to wear. At the time, I didn't know why he would do that. Looking back at it now, Freddie was very sick. Freddie was having feelings about us, and he's trying to make us cover up so he don't take advantage of his own child. To put on something to cover ourselves would make him, I guess, feel better about not looking at us as much. I noticed that my mom at 8 or 9 would get a little white pill and she'd be knocked out. Freddie would, as I remember, give my mom something to keep her nerves calm, something that would put her to sleep. The doctor said that she needed it because her nerves were bad. You know, having so many kids, I believe that's why. But he'll give her a glass of water and make sure that she's taking her medication. She takes it, she falls asleep with the fan on. And as he put her to sleep, he's waiting a couple hours to make sure she's knocked out. And in the summertime, he had us all have fans in every room in the house. When he put all these fans everywhere, we didn't know what was going on. I think that now that I'm older, I know why he did it. The fans would block out noise. He did it to get ready for his next phase. This one night, my mom was gone to the store. I came in like 3 minutes late. You had to be in at 8 o'clock. And I came in a little late from playing with one of my little friends. He said, "You're late coming in." And he's behind my ear telling me, "You go downstairs and take off all your clothes because I'm ready to whoop you." We had a finished basement in our home, so Freddie would have the Bible studies conducted there. But I would describe that basement as a place of evil because this evil took over the good. He took me to the basement and he has no shirt on and he tells me to come to him. And then he whoops me with my panties and bras on. Just going back and forth with the belt. And I'm crying and I'm saying, "Stop. Could you stop, please?" And he would whip me for at least 10 minutes. The kids were up in their rooms watching TV with the fans on. The fans are always on. And no one would hear me in the basement getting whooped. He was sweaty and whooping me in the hot basement. He was enjoying it. I felt humiliated. I felt like sick. And after he whoops me, he wants to hug me. And he tells me to come to him. So I go up to him and he hugs me. I had my hand like right here, didn't want him to really touch me. And he says, "Don't tell no one."
Let's keep this between us. Understand?
And I said, "Okay." And I wanted to just die. I really hated them even more. I feel like I'm one of the daredevils in the family. When it comes to family, you save them. You love them and you save them. Because their family is all you have. One day, I seen Freddie playing with my sister. And they were just playing catch, and I heard her laughing, and he's laughing. But when my sister threw the ball, it was coming towards his face. So he ducked. And then all of a sudden, I heard was a crash. My sister accidentally threw a baseball through a window.
Why'd you do that for?
He got upset.
Come here.
He started exploding. He started saying, "Where's my belt? Where's my belt?"
Now where's my belt? Go get my belt.
I came to a point where I didn't care no more. I didn't care what was going to happen to me. No, I just wanted to do something to save my sister.
Get away from her!
I grabbed the belt and I told him, "You're not going to hit my sister." So he didn't end up whipping her. But when I grabbed that belt, he looked at me and had me pressed against the wall. And he said, if you do anything else like this again, I will kill you. He said, don't you ever stop me from doing anything that I want to do. I will kill you. Do you understand that? And that was probably one of the first times that he ever said he was going to kill me. I just went upstairs and cried. I always felt like he's not done. I always feared that we were going to be hurt in some kind of way from all the threats that he used to give my mom. One day we come home from school, and as soon as we get to the door, Mom is saying, you gotta leave, you gotta go. Freddie's gonna kill everybody. He's really gonna kill everybody. So you guys can't stay here. I need you to take this food. And we're going a few blocks away from the house to her sister's house with the food. And all because of him feeling like he wanted to kill everybody this particular day. I'm gonna kill you! My mom, she's in the house just with him, talking him out of it. And when he was done being so angry, my mom would come and pick us up. All I know is that this episode happened a few times. His explosive behaviors just got to the point and he wanted to take it out on his kids. We couldn't come home because he didn't want to hear us. He didn't hear our voices. I'm thinking he's no longer my father. That's what I thought. I wanted my father to die. I wanted him to be dead or gone from our house. I felt if he was dead, that we would no longer have to suffer. I had a boyfriend when I was 16, and I told him about the stuff that would happen in our house. I said, I wish he was dead. He said, y'all need us to do something to him? He was in a gang. It could have happened easily. I thought about having him kill my father. I paused for a minute and said to myself, this could be a way out of the situation. But I also thought about what could happen to me. I said, don't kill him, because we're going to get in trouble. I decided to go another way, and that was to let God handle everything, the way I was raised and taught from the Bible. Eventually, the church found out things about Freddie, and my father got disfellowship because of all the bad things that he continued to do, meaning that they no longer will allow him back there. And my mom and my father start growing apart in their marriage and separated. I learned that he had a lady in the neighborhood that he was starting to date, and I heard that he was going to move to Minnesota to marry this lady. Last time I saw Freddie, he told me that I'm going to be leaving town. I won't be here too much longer. And I said, okay. And I said, you take care of yourself. I gave him a half hug. I said to myself, he was going to have a relationship and it's going to be abusive. But I never met the woman that he fell in love with. I would have warned her about his abusive behaviors. To be honest, I felt that someone was going to get hurt. I felt like someone is going to die. But I haven't seen him for years after that. Years. I had moved from Indiana to Texas. Just moved into my new apartment. Called to tell my mom that I had a new apartment. My mom gave my brother the phone. When my brother gets on the phone, he said, Freddie's dead. I said, what do you mean Freddie's dead? He said, they shot him. I said, what happened? He said, he killed the woman he was dating.
Fred Bowen has a gun to his head. Police believe he killed his fiancée, 41-year-old Yvonne Thompson.
And he wanted to marry her. And she told him, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to marry you. And that upset him. He went in a rage. He went to the van and he got the gun. And then he went back in to argue with her about why. And he couldn't handle the word no. So he shot her twice in her back.
Police had tried to negotiate with Bowen all afternoon. For 5 hours, he lies out on a grassy area holding the gun.
There was a standoff. When my father was on the ground, he was telling everybody that he was sorry for what he did to his kids. Maybe he wanted us to forgive him. I don't know.
St. Paul police try to negotiate. But when talks break down, police move in.
He wasn't going to listen to anyone. He wanted to die. I believe he got what he wanted.
First, a flashbang, a puff of smoke, a distraction. In slow motion, you can see Bowen turn. Police say he points his gun at them. They fire. Bowen is killed.
I just froze. I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. I couldn't feel for somebody that didn't feel for me. I was relieved more than anything. He's gone now. He can't hurt anybody else.
The entire episode has devastated Yvonne Thompson's family. They say Yvonne wanted to break off the relationship.
I thought about the time that they had together. And I thought about why couldn't you just leave her alone? I was upset. I was hurt. I was angry. I was like, how could he kill her? Why he kill her? I just wish I could have saved her. And I wish I could have talked him out of it. I know I could have talked him out of it. Because I'm the one that always came when Freddie was ready to kill somebody, hurt somebody. And I would have fought him to not do that to this lady. She had kids. I just wanted to tell them, I'm so sorry for your mom. I am so sorry for her. Because I just felt real bad for the kids. I just did. That's sad. She's pretty. Now I finally see the woman that he killed that I never ever seen. Never ever looked at footages, never looked on the computers at the library, never looked anywhere. I just had in my head the way she looked. Everybody said she was beautiful. And that's all I had in my head. And I felt sorry for her because I would have told her so much before they had that relationship. To leave my father because he's going to hurt you. He's not going to be healthy for you. I think it's best that you find someone that's more balanced for you. If I had told her that, but I was a kid, she could have escaped him. She could have moved anywhere in the world and had her peace with her whole new friend. That's what I would have did for her. I never got to know her. I decided to forgive Freddie because I moved on with my life and I just wanted some peace. The Bible says, forgive. I can't judge him. And that's the man that put me through hell. From the Bible, according to the Bible, the devil's here. His angels are here. So as long as they're here, there's evil. Freddie stressed us out tremendously. The evil spirit in him. Yeah, evil spirits can go into people that accepts it and that it, manifests in them, infests until they turn to that kind of person. It's important that I tell my story this time in my life because I've been suffering from a lot and I had a lot of trauma behind it. It's been a long time, this point in my life, that I feel that it needs to be released. It's bothered me a lot. It's taken away things from me. It caused me great pain. What kept me going was remembering God and Jesus, remembering to pray and to remember that I'm not perfect. I didn't ask for these things to happen, and that there was help out there. I'm super glad that he's not here to harm or hurt another person. I will probably always hurt and have nightmares. He's gone, but he's still in my dreams. He scares me. The nightmares are like, I jump out my sleep. It's like it's never gonna go. Like he's so evil that he's still trying to control us from the other side. My art is my therapy, and I started painting in 2009. Painting helped me release stress. Keeps my thoughts simple. Makes me feel relaxed when I'm upset. I look at the paintbrushes that I will keep near, and I'll just paint. When I make a mistake in my art, I'll look at it and see what else God wants me to create from it. When you make mistakes in life, you grow from them. You don't give up. You fight. I just really appreciate life now. Life gonna always bring something new. There's always gonna be a new storm. Some people make it through the storm, some people don't. I unfortunately made it. I'm a survivor.